California Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance. We are in Turlock, part of our roadshow. We are joined by Matt Beekman. He is the mayor of Hughson and Stanislaus County. He is a beekeeper extraordinaire, but today we'll be speaking about Hughson as a wonderful city in this region, the Central Valley. How's Hughson doing, my friend?
Houston is doing very well. I think we're one of the few cities in the Central Valley to weather the financial depression, I call it depression.
It's funny you mentioned that. You're not the first person I've heard that has called the 2010 era a depression and not a recession.
Well, the Central Valley is probably one of the hardest hit areas in the United States. But Houston uniquely, we've been able to always have balanced budgets. We've never tapped our reserves, even through that very bad fiscal time.
How? I mean, Stockton is just up the road.
Right.
And they went bankrupt. You know, Escalon had to cut tons, relatively speaking, several positions. How'd you manage to do it?
We were very conservative, and unfortunately, we had to cut a lot of staff.
Right.
At the peak of the economic times, we had about 28 staff, and we're down to 15 now.
Okay.
So we cut our staff. We've always been very conservative in terms of our planning. We never overextend ourselves in terms of financial obligations for infrastructure. We were very smart about how we went about things.
Are you bouncing back? That's the key.
Yes. Oh yeah. We're in terms of housing construction, and what's interesting too, in terms of housing construction, we never stopped. We've always.
How?
Houston's a very desirable place to live. We have the lowest crime rate in Stanislaus County. We have one of the best school districts in the area.
Let's talk about school districts, if I may.
Okay.
Because what's nice about Houston, apparently, is that your different layers of government work together.
Yes.
And Houston as a city and Houston Unified School District got together,
Yes.
are getting together, to develop a project to the benefit of the entire community.
Correct.
Tell us about the 7th Street Park Acquisition Project.
It's a 19-acre park. We've received acquisition funds through a grant, and we've also been saving funds ourselves through our development impact fee structure. So when we build houses, we charge for parks. And those funds combined together have provided sufficient funds to purchase a 19-acre park. And it's an exciting time for our community.
And what are you going to do with the park?
Well, that's what I want to really encourage people to do. It's a great chance to contact the city. We have our Parks and Rec Commission up and running. And it's really, we want to implement the city's vision. You know, one aspect of the park that I'm adamant about seeing is we had to close down a community pool.
Right.
And that community pool was a lot more than a pool to our community. It's where a lot of people learn to swim. It was one of those elements that really brought our entire community together. And people speak very fondly about the pool even to this day. And so it's an area of genuine need for our community.
So do you anticipate that with the acquisition, a pool will be part of that development?
That's my hope. But, like everything, it comes down to money and getting the funds to do that.
So from where do you get the funds? I understand the acquisition is a match, state and Houston, but what about what you do with it once you receive it?
It's going to have to be a combination of private and public money. And we have members of our community that already made some soft commitments to a pool. And it's my job as mayor to follow up on those. And also go out and get grant funding.
What about the school district? Even though it will be on Houston City property, presumably, I think the high school's across the street.
Correct.
So does the high school already have a pool?
No.
So it would seem that the school district could pony up, no?
That's another logical thing. It does get a little bit tricky, though, unfortunately, because we are in proximity to a railroad. And so there are legal requirements that you can't have school activities within that proximity. I don't know how many feet it is off the top of my head.
Really?
But that was one of the problematic aspects.
But everything in this region is near a railroad. I mean, the 99. I mean,
it's. But
right.
the rules are the rules. I'm elected to enforce the rules, and that's what the rules are.
So, assuming it all goes well, when do you think the pool will open? When do you think this area will be developed?
Oh, we have a 3-year time period that we have to adhere to be eligible to receive those acquisition funds. And so once we receive them, the clock starts ticking then. What I really envision seeing happen is initially we can do a passive park.
Right.
And so, a pool and landscaping aren't going to happen in the next 3 months. We're going to develop different aspects of it over time.
When you come back, I want you to bring some bees. Can you do that?
Sure, I can bring some honey too.
I like it. His name is Matt Beekman. He is mayor of Houston. My name is Brad Pomerance from Turlock. It's California Edition.